Welcome to Ask the Latina. With the growth rate of Latinas in the United States, there seems to be only 5.9% of Latinas in finance. That's something that I hope to see grow, and our guest today is Maria Olvera, and she is a finance major, and she went to college here in Michigan. I believe that we're going to talk about that, and I want to welcome you, Maria, for being here with us, because I think it's a really important topic.
Oh, thank you for having me, Sari. I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah, and tell me, Maria, tell me a little bit more about where you grew up and then how you started getting an interest in finance.
So I grew up in Southwest Detroit. Since I was a little girl, math was always my favorite subject. So I knew I wanted to do something with numbers. I just wasn't sure at that time what it was. But then my older brother graduated with a finance major. So once I saw him working, doing his homework, helping him out, finding numbers, I'm like, well, I like math. So this could be a great opportunity for me to learn and decide whether I want to do this, and perfect fit for me, and I decided to do my major in finance.
That's wonderful. That's great. And as far as finance goes, which area do you have an interest in when you're in college here? What are you looking at? Because finance, I believe you can get several kinds of jobs, different kinds, just like engineering and any other kind of field, even law. Finance offers so many different fields. Can you tell us some of those fields and which one interests you?
Well, there are several. So there's a financial analyst at a corporation. You can be a financial consultant. So there are several you can choose out of. My choice was working as a finance analyst for a corporation. I thought that was the perfect fit for me. But I'm also exploring other areas. So I'm not 100% established in one, but I would love to learn more about the others.
Oh, that is great. And did you see more Latinas, or I mean, you're in class and we're seeing that the statistics are really low. Were there other Latinas in class, or is it mostly male dominated? Sorry, as far as classes go, when you're attending some of these classes at the university?
When I was in school, I was really surprised. There were several Latinas in some of my classes, but they weren't majoring in finance. They were majoring in accounting, marketing, other areas of business, or completely outside of the business school. They were doing something completely different. So at my last couple of classes, the last semester, I didn't see any Latinos other than myself in all of my classes.
Wow. So you had an inspiration because you saw your brother, and that's wonderful. Are there? Do you have one brother, or do you have sisters as well? Other sisters in your family?
I'm actually the only girl in my family. I have 4 brothers, 2 older than me and 2 younger than me. The oldest one graduated from Detroit Mercy with his finance degree and a master's in finance. The second oldest graduated from Wayne State with an accounting degree. And then myself graduated from Wayne State with my finance degree, and my second youngest graduated as well from Detroit Mercy with a finance degree.
Wow, everyone in numbers, that's great.
Yes, business caught our attention a lot.
That's wonderful. I bet your parents are very proud of all of you.
We hope they are, but I'm pretty sure they are.
They're already going, wow, putting all these kids through college.
It was hard, but it was well worth it.
It's well worth it, definitely. I think that that's an important thing that many parents understand. They know that they're going to sacrifice a lot to get their kids through college, and that's really the American dream. So
that's why we were here.
That's right. And now I want to ask you about the college you went to. I know it's Wayne State, but it's a program called with Illich Business School, I think.
Yes, I was in school, I think it was like my 3rd semester in, when they decided to change the name to the Mike Illich School of Business.
Wow.
So the Illich family has a big role in the university. They actually helped open up a new building. So I haven't been to the new building, but I'm hoping to go back for my master's and be in the new building. But I heard it's wonderful.
Wow, like that. And for anyone who might not know what Mike Illich is, he is the founder of many events, or he actually is the owner of the Detroit Red Wings, and also I think the Pistons too. I'm not sure if he owns that as well, but he's opened up so many things for Detroit. There's the Caesars Arena, Olympia is one of their other businesses, but everyone knows the Little Caesars Pizza, and I think that's how they started. But he gave back to the community so much, and this is one of the programs that I think is really valuable to the community, and having this part of the program with Wayne State is very, very important, I think, as far as getting the community up economically wise, and really giving back to all the young people. I think that was a wonderful part of it.
I think it was a great from them. My best wishes to all of them. Thank you so much, because I graduated from their School of Business.
That's great. That's great. So now, where has that taken you today? I mean, where are you now? You've graduated and you're working?
Yes, I am currently working at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. I am in the payroll department, so I do a lot of the accounting side and finance side of the payroll. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's opened my eyes to different things that I didn't know will go on behind payroll.
Yeah.
But now that I'm there, I'm like, well, these people put a lot of work in to have a company of a lot of employees getting paid all at the same time. So it's quite an experience.
Yeah, I bet it is. I can account for seeing small businesses struggle, and then I just can't imagine a larger one. They have to have the right people, and it must be a huge process to be able to do that.
Yes, we're actually currently in the payroll process this week, so we can get all of our employees their paycheck within the next 2 days.
That's wonderful. And then one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, as far as you speak Spanish, right?
Yes.
So do you find that valuable as far as your career goes, and have you been able to use it in your current job?
I think it's really valuable, because you get to communicate not just with one type of person. Like you can communicate to people who work at a different place, or you can translate to other people who have the struggles to understand the language of English. So at work, I don't use it as much as I do at home. At home, we speak fluently Spanish since we wake up all the way till we go to bed. But at work, I haven't used that as much. But in school, it was amazing, because I was part of an organization that helped Latinos grow as individuals. So we try to recruit others, so we will communicate in both languages so they can feel comfortable with us.
That's good. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, that's what sets us apart, is our culture, our language, and that really is what helps communicate to others, and giving back that way and helping them. Basically you're lighting the torch for the path.
Yes, and now there's a lot of corporations that have plants in Mexico, or people working in other countries. So it's amazing to have the second language, because you can communicate with those people. And a lot of the time in Mexico, not everybody speaks English like they're doing now, because I think that's becoming a requirement for certain positions. So being able to communicate with somebody else in another country, I think it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And here too, I know that the high schools, I recently put an article out in AskLatina.com about the fact that some of the high schools in some states, and I think it's just growing with a lot, are giving the bilingual seal in their diploma to know one other language. Here in Clarkson High School, I know that they do that. They actually have to have another language starting from middle school. And so that's excellent, because everyone's understanding that it's valuable to have. And they get credit for knowing Spanish. And so get to know 3 languages when you graduate.
And it opens a lot more doors for everybody who knows second language.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That is very valuable. Did you also find anyone there's different ways that you can use finance. I'm sure that it really becomes helpful as far as investments go.
Yes. I did take a class that taught us about investments. To me, it was interesting, but it was complicated at the time, because you have to know what is the correct time to invest, what is the correct way, and what's the correct place. So it's difficult at a point, but I know there are people that do this for a living. So I do know several people who work for this. So I think it's wonderful, because they have the patience to do it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to understand.
It is, and it's different too. I think for at least a lot of Latinos, because it's a little different from Latin America. How investments are done are differently. Buying a home is a little different. There's so many different things that are so much. Buying a car is different. So the financial literacy is different because of cultural reasons. Not so much understanding the language, it's more the cultural and the levels of things you have to do here to obtain a house or a car, or even reinvest your own money.
Yes, or get loans for school. It's a lot.
Oh yeah, getting loans for school. That was probably a training in itself, huh?
Yes, it was. It was, but it's well worth it.
Yes, yes. And tell us about what did you do to be able to do the loans? I mean, did you apply through online? What are some of the ones you would recommend? Because we have Latinos out there that want to go in the field like you are going in. We want to see those numbers go up. What would you recommend to a Latina that's considering going to college? She's in high school right now, or even maybe just about to go into high school. What are some of the things? I think it's valuable to know that you loved math.
Yes.
And then maybe you could start with that.
So yes, like I mentioned before, I love math since I was in elementary school. I think it was the most amazing subject ever. I really enjoy playing with numbers, finding finding numbers, where they come from, why is this an issue, why things are not balancing. To me, that's really interesting. So if you decide to go into finance, you have to be really, 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 really patient with it, because it can drive you crazy at points. There was times where I was like, I can't do this anymore, I'm giving up, but I'm like, no, I can. I promised myself I was gonna get through this, and I'm getting through this. So I thought it out, I got my degree, but you have to be really persistent to what you want, and go for it, and never let nobody or anything put you down, because it's tough, but we can prove that we can do it, because we can do so many things if we decide to.
That's right. Put your mind to it and make it happen. And definitely having a chance to listen to you is inspiring, that you've done all this and you accomplished it. Finance has always been a difficult thing. I think in our community, we tend to pay our way through things. We don't want to save. I know my own experience. I paid my way through college. I didn't even know that there were some loans out there to exist or anything. And now that's one of the reasons in AskLatina.com we put a page in there about scholarships, and every time we hear about it, we add it in there, because we want one central location, and that's so important to understand that it's there. So to get advantage of it, because you're going to be able to repay it, because it's and
worth
you know that. So when you started the process, did you go through FAFSA?
Yes, I went through the FAFSA, used my parents' information. Since I'm one out of 5 children, I did get a lot of help from the government, to say. So most of my tuition was paid through them. The rest was the loans, and one of them was a Parent Plus loan. My dad was the only income we had at home, so it was hard, but it's well worth it. So I know if I'm gonna get into a debt, it's gonna be for something that's gonna benefit me at the end of the day, and that one day I'm gonna be able to help my parents and give back to them everything they have given to me.
Yes, I'm sure they're going to be very proud of you. So, and I can see that you're going there. So where's your next step? Where do you want to be in 5 years as far as your career goes?
As far as my career, I honestly want to own my own business.
Oh, and with this financial background, I might be calling on you.
Yes, definitely.
And that's wonderful. So own your own business in the area of finance, or something different?
Something completely different. I've always, since I was, when I got to high school, I became in love with cosmetology.
Oh, okay.
So that was something I'm like, well, if I can do that on the side, like have my weekends, practice. So I hope to one day have my own makeup academy.
Oh, okay.
I really wish it does come true, but I know it's gonna take work, and I'm not gonna stop until I get to that place.
Well, yes. Well, keep your dream going, and it's going to come true. I'm sure it will. And you have the foundation. So the foundation for anybody who wants to start a business is definitely finance. I think finance is very critical. It makes or breaks, as far as what I've seen, businesses and how they grow.
It is, because I've seen a lot of smaller businesses, like restaurants that start up in a food truck, and now they have 3-4 different restaurants in different cities. So as long as you know how to work your money and how to keep it afloat, you'll be okay. But I know sometimes times get tough during the economic recessions, or different things can happen. But if you have the background, you'll know how to manage your money properly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Great advice. Well, it's been a pleasure having you. And is there anything on top of your mind that you want to share with other Latinas watching this, and aspiring to go into the field of finance?
Well, I just want to let them know that they don't expect a Latina to be in finance. Trust me, when they ask me what I major in and I tell them finance, they are surprised because they have the stereotype where you don't see women in finance. Most of my classes was full of men, tall men. And there was a stereotype they had at school, oh, you're studying finance, but you're not tall. I'm like, I don't have to be tall.
Wow.
But a lot of my classmates were really tall guys, and most of them was male. So finance is dominated by males, and we want to change that because times are changing, and I think women have a better opportunity to make this change as possible.
Right. And I want to add to, there's also Alpha. You were part of
Oh,
Alpha.
yes, I was part of Alpha. Well, I'm still part of it.
They changed. There used to be Association of Finance and Accounting for Latinos, but now it's what, Association for Latino Professionals?
of America,
Okay.
yes. That was, to me, that was the way to open my door.
Right.
So that's how I got my first internship, through that organization. I am really grateful to them. I'm still part of the organization, and not as active as I wish I could be, but it's a great opportunity if you have questions, if you want to learn how to network. Try an organization that's going to help you gain all those abilities.
Right, and I know from having been a chapter leader for another similar organization used to exist, NSHMBA, National Society of Hispanic MBAs, that Alpha, very similar to them, and I think they've taken over most of what NSHMBA used to do. But there are a lot of financial companies looking for Latinas and Latinos, and so there's opportunity out there. They really know that if you have a Latina in finance, and especially in the investment sector, they're helping Latino families, and that makes sense. That's helping the company, but it also helps our U.S. economy.
Yes, definitely. We tend to have, well, I can talk from personal experience. I want things to get done the proper way and the most efficient way that's not just going to help me, but it's going to help everybody else.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Maria.
No, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the time.
Yes, I really appreciate you taking the time to be in our show, and we've learned so much, and I wish you the best in your future, and keep in touch.
Yes.
So
definitely.
when you do have that business, I want you back here to tell us all about it and your journey there, or anything that happens in your life that you want to come in and help us out with. It'd be great.
Yes, of course.
Definitely. We know that you're going to be growing from here on out, and we'll be in touch with you.
Yes, definitely. So go out there, learn, ask questions. That's one big thing. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I was afraid to ask questions until one day I was like, nope, I can't be afraid anymore. If I'm afraid, I won't grow. And
That's right.
Growing is what's going to give Latinas a higher power.
That's right. That's excellent. Excellent advice. Ask questions. Thank you. Well, that concludes our program with Ask the Latina. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.